Welcome to Air Rifle Pesting. Glad you can join me today. Happy New Year, everyone. Hopefully 2024 will be a better year for everyone. I call this video The Curse of the Hunt for Coyote 8. So the coyote had returned 2 weeks later. That was the one I shot at and missed. I retrieved the trail cam footages on December 26th and I decided to give it a go. Unfortunately, I didn't succeed. Let me take you along for the hunt. On December 20th at about 3:34, as you can see, the farmer just dropped off a dead calf and then he covered them up with the dirt. So December 25th at about 4:42, the coyote returned after 2 weeks of absence. This was the same coyote I shot at missent on December 12th. As you can see, he was digging up for the body, always on the lookout for danger. His favorite spot to stay on was this concrete barrier. He went back to digging up the compost again. And always constantly stopping and checking the area for danger. He was taking a break and looking out for the farm dogs because this is already 4:44 a.m. Again, it back to feeding. It must be hungry. It was good to see that it was back, that it wasn't hurt. Continue to feed here. This will be a great opportunity to shoot it because he was facing away with his back exposed. It took about 28 minutes of footages captured with the trail cam. And you notice the dirt mound was higher this time, unlike December 12th. Again, he stopped and surveyed the area, looking out for danger. He was always alert and ready to jet as soon as he heard some commotion. Definitely lots of body movement there. It's very difficult to shoot them or keep the crosshair on them as they move along. 10 minutes has passed. He still continuing to feed. He must be very hungry. Perhaps he didn't hunt for food since December 12th, the night where I shot at it. This would be the best night to hunt it. Unfortunately, it wasn't there. I've been keeping an eye on the footage on the trail cam for the past 12 days and there was no activity. So tonight was the night. Timing was everything. And it looks like it was eating the stomach content first. That's what they like to go for, as they prefer the soft internal organs. It was definitely feeding well this evening. So this will be a great profile to shoot at while it was sitting on the ledge. Back on eating more meal again. It didn't waste any time feeding. 16 minutes had passed and it was still here. Again, its full frontal head profile was exposed. That's a perfect shot placement to take. It was 5 o'clock and the farmer already started working already. So it's pretty bold for it to hang around this early in the morning. Either he wasn't afraid or it was just too hungry to care. Almost 5 a.m. now and it was still here. I have captured many different timeline of activities ranging from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. even earlier. Very hard to predict when they would show up. Obviously it's much easier to have dead calves in the pit to serve as a bait for them to return. But picking the time and the night was the biggest challenge. Here it looks like it's continuing to check for the farm dogs and ready to jet anytime you see danger. He went back for more food. He must be getting stuffed by now. So this is definitely good news to know. He was taking another short break. 21 minutes has passed now. He was still continuing to feed. Unfortunately, I didn't show up this night. Completely missed the opportunity. The farmer must be working at a different area. Normally you would see them working right behind them. So this was strange. Initially I wasn't sure what it was doing. Upon closer inspection, he was using his nose to cover up the body with the dirt. So I guess he was trying to conceal and protect his meal. That's very smart of them. In total he was there for 27 minutes. As you can see, you can't even see the body now. It's all covered with dirt so that no other animals could see it. 2 hours later, the farm dog came to investigate. She sensed the coyote present, sniffing around, and I think she was eating the meat as well. December 26, 12:45, the same coyote showed up. He was standing right in front of my trail cam, so I activated the recording. It was really heavy rain this night, and that was the only footage that I captured. So I guess the sensor was blocked from the rain. I came in the afternoon and retrieved my footage. That's when I found out with all these activities. So after reviewing the footages, I decided to do a stakeout. The farmer had helped me rope down the carcass and place it on top of the mount. So I thought this would be an easy hunt. Because the weather wasn't too cold, it was about 6 degrees Celsius. I arrived early at 8:30 p.m. to set up. Did some test shot at the concrete barrier to verify my point of impact and my point of aim. So I began my hunt. Here I was checking out my point of impact. As you can see, it's slightly low, but I think it should be okay. At 8:30, I filmed my setup using my NV100. My impact was mounted on top of the tripod, facing the target area 17 yards below. I would see ducks in the field when they showed up. I used them as decoy. This is my FX Impact Mark II with the PAR 007S and the Helix scope. I was shooting the H&N 25 grain Gen 2 slugs. 9:09 p.m. I periodically scanning the field looking for coyote. 9:40 p.m. ducks were active. They're flying down to the feed area. Still no sign of any coyotes, unfortunately. At 10:03, I saw movement. A couple of ducks showed up. Still no coyotes. I would listen carefully for any disturbance. Duck would fly away if coyote showed up, so that was a great indicator for me. When I saw them flew off, I thought maybe they came, but it was false alarm. 11:32 p.m. So I was just checking out my PAR 007 to make sure everything was good. The battery was still working. I was panning left to right, try to practice scanning the area just in case the coyote showed up. Yeah, focusing my parallax. I zoom it to 6x to get a better view. You can see the dead cat was tied down. Now I just have to wait for the coyote to show up. 12:26 a.m. Ducks were here. Still no coyotes. And it was getting colder, especially when the rain came. 4 hours had gone by. I was getting tired. I was having back spasm. 12:27 a.m. I heard some noises. I scanned the area, tried to locate the sound, and I saw 2 coyotes in the field. Here you can see the eye reflection. Yep, they were there. So I kept my NV100 focused downrange. The rain began to fall hard. I didn't feel any cold because I was high with adrenaline. So I was all excited. I felt like I might have a chance to tag a coyote tonight. Here you can see 1 coyote showing in the field there. One set of eyes. I was getting excited. It was staring at the duck in the field to my right. So I moved behind the window, tried to conceal myself better. And there are actually 2 of them. So they were moving forward towards the ducks. I was certain this was the same 2 coyotes that had been coming to the pit to feed. I guess they were about at least 200 yards away. I continued to monitor them, hoping that they would come my way. This was exciting. Exactly why I tortured myself, waiting in the long cold nights, trying to get them. Looks like they were going to go after the ducks, and then they changed their mind and retreated. I did a quick check, and the ducks were still here, so they had no idea the coyotes in the area. So I go back to them. All of a sudden they were moving to the left, and they didn't come this way at all. I thought they had spotted me. Maybe they were just doing the route. 12:44 a.m. I was using my NV100. I hid behind my guns and scanned the area down below, hoping that I will find some action. I checked the bait just in case they sneaked in. However, nothing showed up. So I stayed till about 4:30 a.m. and I left disappointed. I checked the trail cam a couple of days later and I found out one of them actually came by at 6:01 a.m. 2 hours after I had left. Talk about timing, right? The next night on December 28, I returned to give it another go after negotiating with my wife for permission with a condition that I must quit by 2 a.m. The outcome might have been different otherwise. 2:07 a.m. on December 28, the same coyote came back. He stood in front on top of the concrete and the trail cam got triggered and started recording. Unfortunately, I had just packed up my gear at 2 a.m. I was just about to leave for home. Talk about bad timing. I came here at 8:45 p.m. to set up, did my usual routine of waiting and watching the field. This time I was only focusing on the bait area as I stay behind the wall all night. Different strategies so I won't expose myself by the window, just in case. The farmer asked me to check if there are any rats present at his farm, so I decided to just go scan around from above and see if there's any rats, but there were no rats present. So from here you can see some light flashing in the background. Coyote actually turned and looked up for a brief moment. That was the infrared light from my NV100. It continued to stay on the ledge And you can see in the background now, there's some light shining. That was my infrared. I was just scanning below to see any rats presence. While all this was happening, I had no idea the coyote actually showed up. You can see the coyote came off the ledge and then went down below and make its way towards the bait. I didn't even know this coyote was standing there on the concrete. Checking the footage, it stood on that same spot for 45 seconds. I could have lots of time to shoot it, especially with it facing away from me. What a missed opportunity. After I finished scanning for rats and found out none rats exist in this building, which is great news for the farmer, I decided to go towards the window and scan one last time. And wouldn't you know it, I spotted a coyote walking up to the mount. I was shocked and surprised. Immediately I turned and walked back to my gun quietly as possible. At the moment, I was thinking to myself, would I have time to set up my tripod? The answer was no. So I decided to just grab my FX Impact out of the case, carefully not to make any noise opening the case. I unzipped my bag to retrieve my PAR 007S, mounted it on my scope, turn on the external infrared and turn on the PAR 007 and press record. So after the record started, I walked quietly and slowly towards the window. I inched myself closer and closer to the window until I saw the coyote. Oh my God, it was there. It was feeding on the dead calf. So I thought to myself, I need to have a better support. So I decided to get closer to the window so I can use my left hand as a support while holding up my gun and I would have a better shot opportunity. So I inched myself forward again. So my hand found the support on the window, but now my barrel is sticking outside and I knew I had to do this real quick. The moment I saw when I got the coyote into view, it was feeding on the dead calf for 2 to 3 seconds. So I thought to myself, the moment he come back down to take another feeding, that's when I'm going to shoot. And it pops its head back up, look behind it, looking around. I was full of adrenaline and excitement and nervousness at the same time. So I waited, his head came back down. I thought he was going to stay and chew, but he didn't. Instead, pull on the hide immediately. Just as he pulled on the hide, my shot went off. I had anticipated it to stay down 1 or 2 seconds for my shot to reach there, but it didn't. Everything happened so fast. Next thing I knew, the coyote was startled and I missed my shot below his chin. You can see the splatter of the slug. So the coyote turned and ran away as quickly as possible. I tried to spot it through my scope, handing my gun around. All I could see was it just ran away into the dark. So I quickly went back to my bag, put down my gun and grabbed my NV100 and hide behind the window and scan downrange, hoping I can locate it. I scanned around and lo and behold, it was standing on top of the feed where the farmer had covered up with plastic bags and tires. So it was basically standing there looking at my way. Unfortunately, I didn't press record, so I didn't capture that moment. And my thought was, it didn't run away. It might come back. And this was around 2:10 a.m. So I figured I'm going to set up once more. So I went back and grabbed my tripod, quickly set up, mounted my gun on top, and then I waited. All this time I was standing behind my gun, looking down at the target, hoping that the coyote would be bold enough to come back. And my thought was, I startled it, but I didn't scare it away because it was still standing there looking around, wondering what had just happened. So I thought maybe I'll wait another half an hour, 2 hours max, until about 4:30. And that's exactly what I did. I stood there for another 2 hours. Unfortunately, it never came back. Reluctantly, I had to quit and pack up all my gear and drove home. Needless to say, I was very, very disappointed. It was just all timing. My shot was there. The shot went exactly where it should be, right on target. Unfortunately, it had moved its head. I couldn't believe my luck. I was very disappointed, but that's just hunting. All in all, it's just a bad timing on my part. So now I'm going to give it some time. I will return in the new year, hopefully after 1 or 2 weeks, and see if I can get a nice chance. Maybe third time is a charm. Anyway, stay tuned. Hopefully my next video will be my coyote number 8. Cheers.